is Julia Parker, and I was given the opportunity to interview Sheila Parker, my mom, who is a leader in public health education. So the meeting took place, or the interview took place on September 6, 2024. It had to take place via a Zoom meeting, so that is why it kind of looks like that in the photo, because we did it via Zoom. But her title is a clinical health director, and her organization is the Public Health Department of Missaukee County. So what does a typical day for Sheila look like? Sheila Parker is a clinical director who oversees communicable diseases, family planning, and much more. Her day is filled with setting up outreach programs about communicable diseases, family planning, STI and STD prevention, vaccine programs, and more. She oversees different programs and different public health educators to ensure different public health programs are running smoothly. So my mom, or Sheila, she is in charge of different programs that you might see in the community, such as vaccine outreach programs, STI and STD prevention, education, anything in public schools that has to do with public health, such as sex education and things like that. My mom's the person that sets that up, as well as different outreach programs that you might see just anywhere in the community with flyers. So Sheila Parker's leadership style is a lot like collaboration and mentoring. So Sheila takes a collaborative approach by listening and valuing the input of all team members. So she ensures that every team member has a say. She also tries to create an inclusive environment by giving all team members a voice and say in her decision making. And I think that is super important and a great quality of leaders if they take and understand everybody's opinion on certain decisions that she has to make. So I added this quote from an article that we read this week that says, critically, leaders don't just focus on their own creativity, they also support and nurture creativity in their team members, which I agree, and I think that is a very important skill and style of a leader. Data and decision making. So data plays a huge role in setting up outreach programs by looking at different trends and statistics to see different needs in different communities. So Sheila told me that they definitely use a lot of historical data about outbreaks in communities, and her team can target certain areas that all have different needs. So she talked about currently in Michigan there is measles outbreaks where there never was before. So currently they're looking at historical data, comparing it to current modern day data to see if maybe people aren't getting vaccinated for it. She also talked about how they're using data to do outreach programs within preschools and high schools about different vaccine programs that prevent measles, such as the MRI, I might be saying that wrong, but mumps, measles, and interbelled vaccine, which is very, very important. So learning experiences provided by public health. Sheila and her team go to different places within the community to do educational classes on different topics that may be an issue there. So things such as public health education within public schools, making sure that schools have those sex education courses or different STI and STD courses and preventative measures. She also helps with outreach programs during Pride in June and different programs within different communities. And she was talking about focusing different vaccine programs on the communities and things like that. So I did talk about her handing out educational pamphlets. They do this all throughout the community, in different schools, churches, libraries, everywhere that might be huge target areas for different things. They have a lot of different outreach programs and educational programs and pamphlets that are done for different things such as STI and STDs, prevention, family planning, and much more. So assessing learning, how does Sheila and her team go about assessing learning and making sure that these programs are actually being used and valued throughout the community? So evaluations and surveys to evaluate the impact that these programs they are setting up have on the community. They do different focus groups. They invite people in that might have been target populations in the community and talk about if their outreach programs are reaching them or reaching their community. Health outcome data analysis she talked about, and community input, and of course meetings from anyone in the community that they were targeting to talk about those programs and assess if they're working. So I asked Sheila about different problems that have, or setbacks that have come out from things such as COVID was a major setback for public health and was for everybody. But how does she keep optimistic and keep her team motivated? So keeping your eye on the main goal. She talked about telling her team to always stay focused on the fact that they are trying to make an impact in public health and in their community. Rethinking the approach. So, of course, if they have a setback, rethinking that setback and trying to make it into an understanding of that setback and trying to change what happened to make that a setback. So also she keeps open communication between her and her team. Things such as trying to ensure they are feeling okay during different hardships and times that might be impacting them. And of course, trying to understand those setbacks, like I was saying, but also view them as a positive. Because in public health, Sheila talked about how setbacks come up all the time, but setbacks are an opportunity for learning and an opportunity for growth. And trying to frame it that way to her team and to herself keeps her optimistic and her whole team optimistic. So advocating for the community. So I put about how does Sheila and her public health advocate for the community, I asked about. And she said having those outreach programs be free for all in the community. Public health is free for all. That's a huge way to advocate for the community. Raising awareness about health disparities within her community is another thing that Sheila does. Promoting health equity and not just health equality. She said those are two majorly different things, but we want to promote health equity throughout the community. She also, her and her team address systemic issues within public health. So, of course, there's systemic issues within any different organization, and her team also addresses those systemic issues. And then empowering individuals to advocate for their own health is the major thing that the public health system does for us, and that Sheila is able to do for people. So, what did I learn from this interview with Sheila Parker? A great leader in public health is one that understands and works with their team and their community. A leader in public health is not somebody that is just going to think about their own opinion on a matter. They need to take all different populations into account when making decisions. I also learned about data and how it plays a major factor in public health education. All of their outreach programs are based upon data and driven by data. So I also learned that setbacks in public health are opportunities for growth and learning. They're not just setbacks. It's actually kind of a good thing to have a setback to see what needs to be changed and what they can learn from that setback. And that public health education is essential for a healthy community. Anyways, here are my references. Thank you so much for taking the time to see a little bit what I learned from Sheila Parker and public health education.